It is New Year's Eve, everybody. We turn the page on 2025. We wish you and your families a happy new year. 2026, it's going to be incredible. 2025 had a lot more downs than ups, and especially in the Mets world, so we hope for bigger and better things ahead. You're watching Mets Daily. Smash that thumbs up on this video. Hit that subscribe button. Keep on subscribing. Keep on sharing it with your Mets fan family, your friends, your dogs, your pets, your cats, your dogs. Appreciate the support. Lots to get into in the new year, but for now it's pretty quiet in the Mets land, but we know a bit about the Mets plans at least, and that comes from the Mets Vice President of Operations, Eduardo Brazela, who said in an interview with Johnny Trujillo, the Mets Spanish radio play-by-play announcer, that the Mets are looking. They're looking. It sounded like it said 2 starting pitchers, 2 outfielders, and reinforce all positions. So we'll see. If that's the plan, that maybe means they're ditching up first base, but also reinforcing other positions could mean first base too. I don't think he really gave away any secrets here, but he said we're actively looking to add another outfielder in the mix. So, guys, they're going to make more moves. I think a lot of fans are still so worried because they've lost the core and they've lost players that have been here a while, but the reality is the Mets are working here, and so is everyone else. And as I continue to say, there are so many names still available that it's not really time to worry yet. When it's March 1st, if the Mets didn't do anything, then you panic. But this has been a weird offseason. There's a potential lockout and a new CBA next year. You're seeing nobody get long-term ludicrous deals. It's just not happening, and you're not going to see it happen much. I'm sorry. That's why Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger are looking like, man, we might have to take a high AAV deal, but just for 3 years. That's how the market is right now with the uncertainty of the future and the tough economic times. That's how it is. So I know these baseball owners are millionaires and billionaires, but, well, mostly billionaires probably. But the reality is we don't know what 2027 in the baseball world is going to bring, and teams are wary of that. But don't worry, the Mets are looking, and some of that might come via trade. And, a name we haven't brought up yet is Edward Cabrera. He's a name that's come up in the past, him and Sandy Alcantara with the Mets, with the Marlins. And, the Marlins, you think, gotta be interested in getting younger and getting prospects. You gotta think that the Marlins want some of what the Mets have. Edward Cabrera is a right-hand pitcher. He's under contract 3 more years. He's under arbitration 3 more years. Now, to me, Edward Cabrera just does not excite me in the slightest. I'm sorry. And I know he's only 27. I know he's got potential. He had a good year in 2025, 26 starts, 3.53 ERA, but a career-high innings, 137 and 2/3 innings. The Mets need an innings eater. They don't need another uncertainty in the rotation. And Cabrera's had some injury concerns. He's never pitched more than 137 innings. You want a bulldog out there, and to me, it's not worth trading what the Marlins are probably going to ask for Cabrera. Now, Sandy Alcantara is more intriguing because you've seen it from him. I know he had, a bit of a down. No, he had a very down season. He picked it up in the second half, but Sandy's a guy who's pitched 174, 184, 228, 205, 197 innings. He's consistently thrown a bunch of innings. So while he's been down the last 2 years, he missed the 2024 season. Well, he's been down for a bit in 2023, and he didn't have a great 2025. Sandy, to me, is intriguing because he is a bulldog on the mound. But you got to figure the Marlins are asking for a lot. Where it becomes intriguing for the Marlins is, hey, Mets, do you want to eat the remaining money he has left? He has a 2026 $17.3 million deal, and then a club option in $21 million with a $2 million buyout. So Sandy Alcantara could either be a 1-year rental or you pick up a second-year option in these 2 years. And I got to think that's a bit more intriguing to the Mets. What do you think? Is Edward Cabrera intriguing? Are you more intrigued by Alcantara? Sandy is 30 years old, and Cabrera is 27. He'll be 28 in April. So just 2 years older with a whole lot more experience. Now, there's a lot of wear and tear on that arm. 8 years in the big leagues for Sandy Alcantara. But, man, you want to talk about a guy who could probably give you 200 innings in 2026. That's Sandy Alcantara. I'd be intrigued. But no for me for Edward Cabrera. Jorge Polanco was seen doing first base drills in a video yesterday. And, I think a lot of people got to give him a shot. I know a lot of people run prevention. I hate Polanco at first. I hate it. But the reality is guys move to new positions and do well. Like I pointed to Wilson Contreras moving from catcher to first and being one of the more elite defensive first basemen in the league. You got to realize that, it's possible to move to a new position and actually be better. And the bar is pretty low. Pete Alonso, as much as people want to defend him and he scooped the ball well, he's not a good defensive player. I don't want to hear he's a Gold Glove candidate. He's great. He was pretty good scooping baseballs. Outside of that, he is not a good defensive first baseman. So I don't think the Mets really downgrade with Jorge Polanco. They probably maybe stay even, but Polanco's a pretty agile guy. There's a chance it works out. And I know it's more people ripping Stearns saying, how do you say run prevention and then sign Polanco? I think it's more of an angry brigade against, Stearns right now instead of just letting Jorge Polanco maybe actually work at first base. Now, again, I still think the Mets have got to add a first baseman. I don't think you go into the season with that being your own first baseman. And, it's pretty clear that Polanco, I don't think they're ready yet, but I think they're going to be fine there, guys. So I'd say give Jorge Polanco a shot. All right, folks, let's get to your mailbag questions. I know a bit of a quicker show today. Not a ton going on in Mets land. It's New Year's Eve. My brain is fried. I just want to get to the new year. Probably no show tomorrow for New Year's bar unless there's some big Mets news. I didn't mention it today because it's probably not going to happen at this point, but the Diamondbacks general manager, Mike Hazen, said they're going to put an end soon to Ketel Marte trade talks, which sounds like, hey, send us your last offers, a.k.a. they're still interested because of those 10-5 rights that he still has, that if he's still on the roster past April. So I got to think the Diamondbacks are trying, but maybe they're asking for more than what teams want to give, considering Marte's under contract for still $90 million more dollars for 5 more years. All right. From the comments on yesterday's Mets Daily, keep smashing that thumbs up. Keep on commenting. Here we go. From Al Borelli, he says, I'm a longtime Mets fan since 1962. Our best Mets teams are built on homegrown talent. Keep going, David Stearns. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's going from within. And if the Mets have a top 5 farm system in baseball, that's not just us being homers. That's what the world is telling us, is that the Mets have a very talented farm system. And if that's the case, and baseball evaluators who do this for a living are telling us that the Mets have great talent in the farm system, you have to trust that eventually a few of these guys pan out. Whether it's Clifford and Benj, whether it's Benj and Jet, whether it's Ronnie, Jet, and Benj. Yeah, I don't think they're going to put a guy in the farm system in every position, but they're going to be a few starting players that come from within. That's how your favorites, Alonso, Nimmo, McNeil, all started. So you got to see it from a new era now. I got a comment on the Mets Daily Twitter. Obviously, we blew up a little bit in the Lindor video. A guy replied on Lindor, he said, the minute he touched Squirrel and humiliated him, we should have knocked Lindor off his feet. Do you realize we're talking about Jeff McNeil, whose career is over with the Mets? Do we realize we're talking about a player that topped out in 2022? He's cooked? Why care that Jeff McNeil had his hands laid on by Francisco Lindor? Jeff McNeil stinks. I'm fascinated that fans have this love affair with Jeff McNeil. He was great 3-4 years ago. He's not good anymore. Can we stop caring that Francisco Lindor did not have a good relationship with him? And keep, again, with this pointing Lindor's the problem? Come on. Man, I wonder if people just step outside or they stay inside all day. That guy sounds like someone who doesn't step outside and just stays inside all day. From KHer51, he says, what's funny is you said they're spelling his name wrong and I'm deaf. So I use captioning while watching you, and the caption spelled Sterns. Lol. That's incredible. Well, thank you, K-Her, for watching. I can't say listening, but using the captions and watching us. We appreciate it. That is incredible. I don't like when the captions come up for me. I'm not deaf, but because it does spell things wrong. I pride myself when I do post my social media videos on everything being spelled correctly. I think that's something I do better than a lot of people who are just do the auto captions and post. I edit my captions to make sure every word is spelled right. I was in the 5th grade spelling bee. I take spelling serious. So when people do spell Stearns, I'm like, it's simple as his name. Like, you're going to spell Jake Brown, Browne. I'd be furious at that. You know, for a while, I think Con Ed or one of those companies had my name as, what do they spell Jake Brown? They spelled Jake, J-A, what do they spell it? Well, they spelled it Jacke, I think. Jackie, or they spelled it, I don't know, but they spelled Jake wrong, and it had me furious. I'm like, come on. Anyways. From Leo Kelly, who's also an assistant GM in Houston that won 2 titles, have recreated part of their coaching staff now in New York. Peter Heffernan says, Jake, I went on a road trip to Pittsburgh to see the Mets last summer. You could tell they actually didn't like each other for whatever reason. They got slapped. Home game is a different vibe. In the 7 train, Mets will wait out market and pick up good players. Closer to spring training. Plenty of deals laid on. Exactly, Peter. Plenty of deals. And honestly, the Mets are probably going to get the best deals. Mets are going to be, getting Gucci product potentially while shopping at Marshall's. So I think the Mets are smart in letting the market play out here and not rushing to pay some guy more than they're worth. But yes, I remember that series in Pittsburgh. Eric Chavez should have been fired that weekend. Dub says the free agent market sort of sucks this year. It's hard to get excited about Bellinger or Tucker. I think it's hard to get excited about those guys at the numbers that are being thrown out there, but I would get excited if the numbers were less. But you're not wrong. Not a great free agency class. Peter Cullen says, don't consider Mark Vientos gone because of his sophomore jinx. So many players have had Hall of Fame careers after their sophomore jinxes. Listen, Peter, if Mark Vientos is here, I'm going to root for him to do well. My thought on Mark Vientos is, yes, I think he can improve offensively. Like, I think he can get back to being a 25 to 30 homer guy. But to me, he plays zero defense, and he's the slowest man in baseball that all he does is hit. And when he doesn't hit, he's worth nothing. And I know that sounds mean, but like, he's not worth keeping if he's not going to hit consistently. And to me, he does not get on base enough to struggle hitting. Like, he's not a high walk guy. To me, Mark Vientos just doesn't do, he can't move a guy over. He doesn't bunt. He has no speed. So if you keep Mark Vientos, he better be a 25 to 30 homer guy because that's the value in him if you keep him. But defensively, as much work as he's going to do, he's just, the feet aren't there. He's not agile. Dan Abraham says, yeah, you need to sort the headline to YouTube. I'm not sure you do, but they will eventually cost you viewers, in my opinion, LGM. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, I get this a lot. I haven't made a single headline. This is partnered with Fan Arch. They create the headlines. We work on this show together. This isn't all me. Now, the show I host, the templates I do, all that, but they make the headlines. I get it. They're fucking terrible. But what they do is they bring in views. Listen, this is a views business. I know people want to hate on views, but if I make a headline, what will the Mets do? ? It's just not going to get the numbers because we aren't built up yet. We're in the first year of the show. We have not built up. I'm excited for year 2. We launched, I think, January 6th or 7th last year, or this year. Well, while you're watching this last year, 2025. January 6th, 2025, around there we launched. We're less than a year in. Because we are new, we can't do, how YouTube worked is those catchy headlines do work. And, I know it's like, oh, I fooled you into watching, but I would think you like the show. If you stuck around, you like the show, you kind of got to ignore the headline. We're a daily show. They're going to use a lot of the same dumb headlines every time. I agree. I don't like it. And I've talked to them about it. They said, let us handle it. We know what we're doing. And that's the pushback I got. So I've tried, guys, but it's partly their channel as well. And that's what we have to do. We have to operate that way. And listen, it's working. The numbers are doing well. So I can't really knock them because we could try and make it something boring. But those outside people who have not subscribed or don't know Jake Brown or don't know Mets Daily or don't know my career and don't know what I've done in this business, they're like, who the fuck is this chubby bald guy talking about the Mets? I don't care. So sometimes we have to reel newer people in with the headline, and I get it. It sucks, but that's the industry. You know how many fake skits there are of people doing fake stuff to blow up and go. Like, to me, if my fake thing is going to be these headlines that they make, I'll live with it. So I'm sorry. Again, I've tried. but that's what works. That was the YouTube algorithm. That's how the numbers work, is these kind of headlines. And I know today's going to say, shocking update. You won't believe this. And it's nothing that's shocking or you won't believe. And I get it. But we're here talking Mets rumors every day. And I'm showing up every day. And I hope you show up with me every day. So that's, I'll close it on that because I know there's multiple comments. Nothing shocking, blah, blah, blah. Guys, again, don't make the headlines. But we love you all. Thank you so much for watching all year long. We appreciate your support. Plenty of guests coming in the new year. Can't wait. Hank Azaria will be on with us in January. We'll continue to have Figgy in the mix and Wardy and Draftneck Mark and all our good friends. So we appreciate your support. Smash that thumbs up. Subscribe. Follow me at Jake Brown Live. Go to my YouTube right now. Click subscribe at Jake Brown Live. Appreciate it. Happy New Year, everybody. Stay safe out there. Get an Uber. Don't drive drunk. Be safe. Be responsible. And good blessings for 2026. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll talk to you next year.